Hi, friends.
Hello there. Welcome back to our Traveling with the Keels, Travel with the Keels, as we get started in our newest thing because we didn't have enough to do in life. Uh, we just needed something to do. We have nothing to do in life, and we're just have all this free time. No, that's actually quite the opposite. We don't have a whole lot of free time, but we do, and when we do have free time, we love planning our next trip, dreaming about our next trip, dreaming about the trip after the next trip, and all of that. And so we decided we were going to start making some videos about some of our travels over the last few years in particular. And so we started with the Alaskan cruise, which feels like forever ago. I mean, it's been what, a month and a half since we got back? Not even a month and a half since getting back. So it's been a month and a couple days since getting back. But we're still talking about it. We're still, just the other day.
I just went and got my hair done and was talking about it with my hairdresser. So.
Yes. So that was kind of our launching thing in terms of us recording videos and getting some content together to share with others. Because for us, we have benefited greatly by the online content available by other people that are producing all kinds of material for other people just to help them. And so we figured, hey, let's just join the collection of people out there producing things to help others, especially if it's their first time going on cruises, especially if it's their first time going on particular cruise lines or going to specific places. We want to be helpful.
So this video is just kind of, we decided we're going to recap all of our past cruises. So this is the inaugural cruise.
Yes.
Our first cruise ever. And we just want to kind of tell you what we did, our itinerary, what we did in each stop, and basically what started this whole.
Yes, because
we got bit by the cruising bug.
Yes, and in our previous video, we kind of laid the context for this vacation because we were very hungry for being able to take some really nice vacations because for many years we hadn't really taken very many vacations, and so we were very hungry for some new vacationing experiences. And so you can learn about that context in the other video, and we left off right at the beginning of right before we left on the cruise because like I mentioned before, I did not want to know about anything to do with the cruise really except for payment dates and how much until that Christmas to New Year's break. And then our cruise was literally
2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks later. So I had 2 weeks to be excited, 2 weeks to catch up on things, 2 weeks to start packing, 2 weeks to start asking all sorts of questions. And so we did all that in that scrambled period. So it was nice having that break to prepare. And then we left. We flew with some friends of ours late at night to to Fort Lauderdale.
Yes.
Is where we flew to.
Yeah, so we flew out of Chicago Midway, which is not far from here, from our house. We see the planes all the time, and it's always like, I want to be on that plane going to a cruise. But we flew late at night. We got in at
close to 11 something because it was after midnight when we were checking into the hotel. Yeah. And it was somewhere after 1 before trying to sleep.
And didn't we all share, we all shared one room?
Yeah, we had one room for everybody. Yeah, all 6 of us.
Yeah.
Where did the kids sleep?
I don't even remember. They were small. They tucked under the bed.
They were somewhere sleeping. I don't know.
But then it was getting into late at night and then getting up super early because the next day we were heading to the cruise.
Yeah, it was very quick turnaround.
We have since learned that we don't like doing that. So anyway, but
we've done it once since. But yes, we getting in late meant we were for the Wish.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But even then we weren't in that late.
No, not that late. No.
But anyway, we'll talk about that one another time.
Yeah, so we got in late. You were going to bed a little bit after 1. We're hard to sleep because we're excited. There's anxiety about this first brand new experience that we've never done before.
And I get car sick, so part of me is like, am I going to be sick this whole time? I know Scott, the husband and dad of our friends, he doesn't do well on cruises. He gets motion sick very easily. So there was one night he left early. And he's done that too. But we've learned how to combat that.
Yes. Yeah.
you
Yes.
prevent
So,
that from happening. We've learned how to fix
Yeah.
his problem.
We'll get.
Scott on another anyway. But so I was very worried about being sick. This cruise we did patches.
On the first
on
cruise,
the first
yes.
cruise we did patches, and I don't recommend that.
Yeah. It may have been the kind that we had too, but yeah. So we were.
There was foreign wording on it. There was no English on these patches. So
yeah.
I was kind of like,
I can't remember where I got them. So maybe I got them somewhere
from a coworker. I think.
Yeah.
Anyway, so then we got on our shuttle. We used SAS. I'll put a link to them.
Before we left, I got a picture of me wearing this shirt. I can still fit it. It has been 5 years, but I can still fit in this shirt. But this was my first ever. This is the first Mickey shirt I ever got. I never ever thought I would get a Mickey shirt ever. And I had to get one because we're going on a cruise. And so she was like, hey, for embarkation day, can you at least get a Mickey shirt for that? So we got some Mickey shirts, although that's not the one you had.
No, I no longer fit into that one.
Yep. So this was...
It is a pajama shirt now.
It is a pajama shirt, yes. So that's what cruising will do to you.
Yeah.
Your shirts that when you start cruising, you fit into one kind of shirts, and after 6, 7, 8 cruises, you fit into different kinds of shirts.
Yeah.
That can happen. It doesn't have to happen, but it does happen.
So anyway, but you got a picture with
and
Ruby.
I got a picture with Ruby while I was wearing this shirt because that was the dream that I'd had. Is that hey, we were on a vacation together, and I couldn't wait to meet Mickey, and this was the day that I finally got to see Mickey, and so I got to get a picture with Mickey. Okay. I was very excited.
But before we do that, like SAS is a transportation service. I will link them down below. Highly recommend them. We've used them all 3 times. We flew into Fort Lauderdale and then sailed out of Miami. So they got us from Fort Lauderdale to Miami so we could board the ship.
And then they also picked us up on the way back. They're right there ready to go. So as soon as we got off the ship and got through the port, they would get through that. SAS was right there to take us right back to Fort Lauderdale Airport or wherever we were going.
Yeah. So then we get to check in. We are totally oblivious, not oblivious, but just this is so new for us.
So many people,
It's just, also, because our friends had sailed before, they were part of the Castaway Club, so they got to go ahead of us. Yeah, and we had to wait wait back in another waiting area, so they weren't even around. And then, so I'm sitting there, and along comes Mickey Mouse to come greet everybody getting on the ship. And so I was like, let's go get a picture. And Orion's like, but I need Ruby. And I was like, but Ruby's not here. Yeah. Mickey is. Let's go see Mickey. Yeah. So we got a picture with Mickey right before we got on the cruise. I love meeting the characters. It's something that I really look forward to. I scan the app when we're on the ship all the time, looking for different characters I haven't met yet.
And that app is a lifesaver. It really is. Disney does a really good job putting that app together, keeping all the information in there, up to date. And so, yes, if you're on that cruise, as soon as you get into the port, you don't even have to be on the ship to load the things on there. So sometimes there's a gap between your port arrival time and when your boarding group. And so there's some space there depending on what time you arrive in relation to those boarding groups. So sometimes those first couple times we arrived, we probably had at least half an hour before we actually boarded. And so that's a good time to pull up that app, log into there, and start looking at certain things that you can start making maybe reservations for, or just favoriting, clicking on the heart for specific things that you want to do, specific characters you're wanting to see and when, specific movies you're wanting to see, specific activities, all of those things. Go through, star over and above what you think you might want to do, just so you get notifications when those things come up. Yes, because
it reminds you when. Yeah,
exactly. It gives you some good reminders as you're going through, because it's so easy to forget. It's so easy to get caught up in what's going on. So having those reminders coming up on your phone about different activities that you thought you might be interested in, really great to have those kind of things.
So, getting on the ship, we went to Cabanas, like everybody else. Our first trip to Cabanas, eating lunch there. Then I think we got into our room first, and then we had the muster drill.
Mhm.
And our first time going through the muster drill, like that was different. Like eye opening for us. Just sitting on the deck for a long time, waiting for people to get there because we can't leave until people go through the muster drill.
And every cruise line does do it a little bit differently. For Disney cruises, you actually have to at a designated time, which is like 4 o'clock, 4:15, whatever it is for that particular cruise, is you physically have to go to your muster station at the same time as everybody else, and so that way they can get a head count on everybody and give everybody instructions in person from the people who are designated to those muster stations, and so that way you see the people that are going to be at that station where you could ever do that. So they actually make you physically go through that stuff, whereas other cruise lines, you literally just check in, they take down your room number, and then you watch a video later in your room. But they want you to actually go to the place, get the instructions in the place where you would have to go.
So, and then it's the mass exodus up to the top deck, the pool deck, deck 11.
Yep.
It's 11 on Magic.
We were on the Disney Magic first, so
yeah, I think it's deck 11.
yeah.
Anyway,
time for the sail away.
The sail away party where they have dancing and music, and they blow the iconic ship horn. Ba, 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 it makes me teary-eyed just thinking about it. It's very, like, I was hearing the ship's horn on the Norwegian cruise. It's like, this is kind of boring compared to the Disney ships. And then we set sail. Our first night we had a musical, Tangled, in the Walt Disney Theater. One of my top favorite Disney films. Like, Rapunzel is my favorite princess because she knits. That's really the only reason why I like her. No. And then it was like perfect combination. So we had Tangled, and then we went to dinner at Rapunzel's Royal Table.
Yes, and so for the cruises for Disney, they've got early dining and late dining. So early dining, which we've never done, we've always done late dining for different reasons. So usually it's like 8:15 is the dinner time. So what happens with that rotation is you go to the show first, and then you enjoy your late dining. Whereas the other half of the ship, they're going to enjoy dining first and then do the show after. And so for us, we always do the late dining. So so we got to enjoy the Tangled production. Just wonderfully done. Enjoyed it. Loved the music. And then we got to go from that straight into Rapunzel's Royal. What is it?
Rapunzel's Royal Table. Where they're having a birthday celebration for Rapunzel. If you know the movie, you know what that's about.
Yes, and yes, the dinner itself was wonderful. The entertainment, the characters that are there throughout your dinner experience, wonderful. When the waiters, servers are bringing out the lanterns and the lights are dimmed and you've got the lanterns going around. Yeah, that combination of seeing Tangled on the same night that you're doing that main dining room area, it is a perfect combination. Yes. It was a great first night for us. That was a night where I left early. I was not feeling too good for the first night. I missed dessert. It takes a lot for me to miss dessert. But what I came to discover, not just from that cruise, but later cruises for me, is on that very first day of embarkation, if I am tired, then I am inclined to get a headache. And you combine tired and headache with getting started with a ship moving and all of that. It's a bad combination. So I needed to go back and lay down and get some rest. And by the next day, I was totally fine. I got a great night's sleep. And so I've paid attention to that a little bit better, where I try to make sure I'm not as exhausted on that first day. That's part of why we like to arrive earlier than arriving late at night and then jumping right onto a ship the next day. I just prioritize getting some good rest, and that's just a great way to start a vacation anyways. Who wants their first day of a vacation to be just exhausted and missing out on things? Try to organize it differently if you can. So anyway, so that was just, I thought they were winning me over. Who was the character that was behind me? Vladimir, yeah. That's one of my favorite pictures, and I'm very surprised. I'm sure Lori can put that picture in there.
I will figure it out.
Yes, that dinner experience, like I said, that combination was a wonderful start to the cruise. So I was already, even though I was feeling a little sick at the end of the day and missed out on dessert, I made up for it later. The next day, I ordered 2 desserts, so I balanced out. But that was a great first day. I was very impressed for somebody that doesn't like water, doesn't really care for a bunch of kids from other people that I don't know, and isn't really a Disney fan. I was already off to a great start on that first day.
And then became what really hooked us on cruising. You wake up in a new place every morning.
Yeah.
So the next morning we woke up in Key West, and we fell in love with Key West. We've never been back. We would love to go back. Mm-hmm. It was basically what we did at Key West. We didn't have an excursion. My friend Sarah planned this whole food journey through Key West.
Place to get a bite to eat, regular food, a place for desserts and different things.
Actually, it was all sweets.
Was it all sweets?
It was all sweets.
That's right. Well,
at the end of the day, I was
my donut had bacon on it. It was my donut had bacon on it. It was a maple glazed.
It started with a walk to the southernmost point of the United States, continental United States.
Pretty iconic picture that a lot of people get.
Yes, and it'll be up on the screen. So it was a long walk, and the night before at the Tangled show, that's when our cruise director was asking who's excited to be on a cruise, and everybody screamed, and he's like, kids, how are you? And the kids screamed, and then, ladies, are you excited? And the ladies screamed, men, are you excited? And they screamed, and then he made a comment about how he thinks it's funny when, the ladies go, ah! And then he's like, and I asked the men, they're like, yeah, I'm on a boat. Yeah. And that started this whole thing with our friend's daughter. She kept saying the whole time we're walking to the southernmost point, yeah, I'm on a boat. To hear this from a 9-year-old little girl.
Yeah, I don't know where that deep voice came from, but she found that deep voice in herself between that and chicken beef.
Well, yeah. So on Key West, there's lots of chickens. And so the littlest one, who is 4, maybe 5 at the time, I can't remember. She was just like, Dad, you want to eat some chicken beef? And we're all like, chicken beef? So that became a catchphrase throughout the cruise as well.
Yeah. That was a mystery that I think came back to after the cruise. We were on our way to Orlando, which they had been to many Disney stuff, and they were talking about which restaurant they wanted to eat at when they got to Orlando that night or for the next day. And the restaurant that they were wanting to eat at was called Cowfish. And so when I heard the restaurant Cowfish, I'm thinking, okay, that's a weird combination, Cowfish. So I'm thinking maybe Cowfish somehow in the mind of a 4 or 5-year-old kind of got twisted around into chicken beef. It's that's my interpretation or my thoughts on the mystery there. But yeah, I love that. And so for me, I grew up in the country. I grew up. We didn't really have farm animals where we're at, but we had family that I had an uncle that had a bunch of farm animals. There's other people that had farm animals, and so for me, we normally have squirrels in our neighborhood, and so going to Key West and seeing just roosters, chickens, and stuff walking around like we would normally see squirrels, I thought that was the coolest, funniest thing ever. Yeah. I wasn't quite expecting that because, like I mentioned before, I didn't do a whole lot of research about these places in advance. So all of a sudden I start seeing these chickens. I started investigating, why are there chickens just walking around all over? But it was awesome. Loved that. And like she mentioned, waking up in a brand new place each day is something that we've really enjoyed, especially since I hadn't been out of the Midwest too much. This was my first time going out of the country, even though Key West isn't out of the country technically yet.
We're getting there.
I was off the mainland. I was off the mainland for the very first time, and it was again off to a great start on day 2. Just doing that. No excursions necessary. Just walking around, enjoying some food, enjoying the chickens. And I was a happy camper.
So obviously, he already mentioned donuts. We stopped at this gourmet donut place. and all on the way back from the southernmost point. So we had donuts. Then we stopped at this place that had
You
rolled
scoot
ice
over a little
cream.
bit. I got sunlight on my face. We'll just booty scooty a little bit, just a little bit. There we go. That's better.
Okay. We need to start doing this earlier.
Yeah.
It's getting later in the day.
Mhm.
Anyway, it's rolled ice cream. I had a bite of yours, but I was just like, I just wasn't in the mood for it. And then you're in Key West, you have to have key lime pie.
Mhm.
You just do. So we stopped and got key lime pie. I had the chocolate covered key lime pie, because if it's got chocolate in it, I'll eat it. I remember when we came back, I had another slice of key lime pie that was like from the freezer section in the grocery, and I was like, this is not key lime pie. I like the original good stuff. That was good. And then we got back on the ship. I'm trying to remember. That night we had a show. This was a long time ago, so trying to remember. But then we had food at Lumiere's, and that's the French restaurant where he gets his escargot, because he loves escargot.
I had escargot once, maybe twice before, right? And so I was excited, like, wow, this is fancy, because they got escargot. And so, yes, I was definitely in love with the escargot and dipping the bread right in there, sucking up all the, olive oil and whatever else is in there.
Butter.
So good.
But that night we kind of had a little issue with our food getting out to us late. And so the kids weren't able to get to the kids club like when they wanted to, and so there was kind of an issue, and that's when we learned like the head host of the restaurants. Like we have servers that serve us. There's a head host, and we're like, he doesn't really do much. But no, they do. They are on top of things.
Yeah.
And so then for the rest of the cruise, they made sure that the kids got their food first, and then we got our food. But it's like, make sure that the kids get their food so they can go do the kids' stuff.
Because they just love,
the kids club at sorry, getting a text message.
And so for me, since I was the one managing the financial side, making the payments for things and wanting to know how much things cost, how much for the excursions, it was in that process where I found out, like, oh, there's these gratuities that you need to pay. And so I forget how much. It was like $16.50 per person per day for us. So whatever the math works out for that, those 4 nights. And so there's 3 categories or 4 different people that get gratuities on Disney ships. One is your stateroom host, the person who's cleaning your room, fixing your bed, turning things down at the end of the day, doing all that stuff. And then you've got you've got a host for your table and an assistant host to your table, and then you've got the head host or the main host for there's only one for the entire dining room, and so they're coordinating all of the different teams, and they're going around managing different things. And so I'm thinking, you've got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people in this big, huge eating area. Like, why am I giving a tip to the head guy who, like, he's not doing anything? He's not going to do anything for us. That was my perception heading into this gratuities, and grumbling about how much are you going to pay for gratuities, and because we're already paying a bunch for the cruise itself. And so my posture about gratuities was like, ugh, I'm forced to pay these gratuities to these people. Let me tell you, by the time we got to the end of the cruise, I was more than happy to pay the gratuities to each of them. I wish I'd have brought extra to do even more back then. Back then, our financial situation was improving, but it wasn't where it is now. So now we have no problem at all giving additional gratuities to some of these people, because they are working hard. They're doing a great job, especially on the service side on Disney cruises. And so, like she mentioned, there were some issues, whatever it was that created a delay. I'm very observant in a lot of things, and I noticed that the head host was talking to the team that was working with us, and you could just tell, like, he was asking questions, and then like right after that, he is over our table area He's asking how things are going. And you can tell he's asking like very specifically because he wants to make sure that we're okay. And you know, and maybe he can observe maybe there's a little frustration. We're pretty happy-go-lucky, but I think he just kind of knew, okay, there's some delay here. We need to figure that out. And that next night, oh my goodness, everything was everything from that for the rest of the nights. Everything else was great. So just know if you go on a Disney cruise, that head host is they're really doing something. They're paying attention. They've got a lot of teams to take care of, but those people are taking care of the guests, and they are paying attention to anything they can help with.
And so the next day we woke up in Castaway Cay. That is,
it's spelled Cay though, but I don't know.
Anyway,
it's pronounced Key.
It is Disney's.
I get corrected a lot on that. I want to say Castaway Cay because that rhymes, Castaway Cay, but no.
It is Disney's private island in the Bahamas. They have leased it for 99 years.
In a row.
Yeah. And so with the express intent, like they don't touch a lot of the environment there. Like they make sure that
kind of like preserved. A renter. When you rent something, you can't just do whatever you want. You can't just paint whatever you want. You can't do as much things. So they are renting, leasing it, and there are things that they can do for that space.
There's still like Disney does theming so well, and so they have decorated the island in awesome theming for Disney. And you can actually mail a postcard from there if you want to.
It won't get back soon. Now, we've never done this, but I have seen many people say, they'll get something a few months later.
Yeah.
They'll get their thing in the mail. And so I don't know what the deal is with the postage there when you're dropping it off there and what delays it to get back to you. Maybe it's purposeful. Don't mail yourself something really important that way. But a lot of people do it because they love to get something in the mail reminding them of, their cruise and their time.
But I will say, when we were going on this, when we were planning it, I heard about the Castaway Cay 5K. And I thought, free souvenir. If you finish within 90 minutes, you get a medal.
And I don't even think they're keeping time anymore.
Well, they were then. And so this is our medal. We both have one. But I just brought one down. So this is our medal from the 5K. My friend Sarah and I, we walked it and chatted the whole time. And we were done in time. Yeah. We saw the finish line and we ran to the finish line once we saw it in sight. Yeah. He took off.
Well, so me, my friend Scott, their daughter Ruby, we took off together. And Ruby, she weighed like 20 pounds at the time. I don't know. She took off like a bat out of Hades. I'm like, she is gone. And so my friend kept up with her and me with my knees. I'm like, ugh. I found somebody else actually to run with because I'm not with my knees and as bad as they are and the arthritis and everything else. I don't do good for like a slow trudging run. I actually feel better when I'm doing more of a faster speed. And so I found somebody else where we could run like little kind of like sprints for a little bit, like faster pace for a little bit, and then walk for a little bit. Fast pace for a bit, walk for a little bit. And so I got a picture with him, but he was my running companion. And
do you remember his name?
He had a name. Eduardo, George. What was it?
I don't know.
Oh, I thought you were asking because like you remembered. She remembers a lot of stuff. No.
Eduardo was our server on that cruise. Anyway, but yeah. So then after that we went to the adults only side of the island called Serenity Bay, and we just lounged by the beach, and it was lovely. And then we went to lunch, and we went to lunch on the adult side. They have a few more options than on the family side of the island. Like steak.
So our first
tuna.
Our first 4 or 5 Disney cruises, we always went to Serenity. But our last cruise, actually, we went to the family one just to do something different, a different beach area. So we did things a little different this last time. But yeah, do that 5K because it removes any and all guilt. Whatever calories you burn in that 5K, whatever you eat, it balances out exactly. That's
a wash day.
That's island math right there.
Yeah.
5K equals however much you manage to consume that day.
Yeah. So had a great day on the beach. Came back for pirate night on the Disney ship. They always have a pirate night, and that includes a pirate show and fireworks at sea.
And that's after both dinners. So like I mentioned before, there was like a show and a dinner, or dinner and a show. This is something that's after both dinners have completed their thing. So whether it was 9:30, 10 o'clock, however, whatever time it was.
Disney is the
Did
only...
I dress up?
No, we did not have costumes in.
Yeah, did not have costumes or anything
I didn't
extra
even have
for that
ears
one.
yet. I do have pirate ears now.
We
But
were so new and poor back then. Couldn't even dress up for the pirate
But let me
thing.
finish.
Okay.
Disney is the only cruise line that does fireworks at sea because their fireworks turn into fish food. And they have come up with a recipe that makes it so it doesn't harm the fish.
Biodegradable and edible.
Yes. So, when you have pirate night and you have fireworks, if you look out into the distance, you can see other cruise ships following the Disney cruise because they want to see the fireworks too. Yeah. And so...
Yeah, they kind of, they all share the same paths as they're doing some of the same itineraries. And so, hey, might as well stay close so you can enjoy a little fireworks show and other people get to see. Yeah.
I was like, oh.
Yeah. And
look
she
at those
loves
people
fireworks.
over there.
Yeah.
Enjoying our fireworks.
Yeah.
I love fireworks.
And so, and when you have fireworks that are right there near you, it's just, it's nice.
And then the next day we were in Nassau. His first time out of the country.
Yep. No, Castaway is out of the country.
Well,
that has a Bahamian address. So, yep. First time going to Nassau. This is before the port got completed. They've redone the old port. So the old port, the old straw market, all that stuff was very different back then.
And we did. This was our only excursion. We did the chocolate factory there in the Bahamas at Nassau, the Grey Cliff Chocolate Company. And I was thinking, a big factory kind of thing. No, it was kind of like in a little house.
very like
small.
Locally owned and operated kind of,
operation. And we got to make our own chocolate bars and other little chocolate snacks. And, of course, I did the dark chocolate because I love a dark chocolate. They let us taste test some of the stuff before we selected what we wanted. We got to taste like the pure cacao mixture that...
Cacao? Or what is it? No.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Okay. I thought you said just cow.
No. Cacao. And it was...
Bless you.
Yes. And so the very, very bitter stuff. I got to try that. I still liked it. And... Then we went to the straw market, and that's when you started your whole turtle collection.
Yes. So with the straw market and with other places in the world, there are places where they have a bartering conversation that happens on the price of things because there's not a price on things when you pick it up to look at it. And so the straw market was this large area where you can kind of, the old one especially, you could kind of get lost in there because there's so many rows of vendors of people selling all sorts of things. And so it can be overwhelming if you're not prepared for it. And so some people don't like to be, they don't like to feel like they're being pressured into buying something. And so they don't, so there's a lot of pressure. People just, they're there to make some money and sell things. And so if they've got somebody looking at something, they really want you to buy it. So some people really don't like that. We're okay with that. Not a problem there. But for me, one of the problems that I had is here are these people that are just in a very different economic situation than we are in. We're on a Disney ship. We're in a pretty decent economic situation just to be able to go on a cruise and do something like that. And so for me, the bartering, I'm not going to nickel and dime somebody from they say $5, I say $4, or I say $3, and then they say $4. Bartering on the price is something I just really didn't want to do because, hey, I can pay whatever the price is. And so, but it's kind of disrespectful culturally if you're not doing that. And so it's actually, so you got to do something. And so my approach in each of the places where we bought something was a lot of them had these little wooden turtles. And I thought, you know what, this is going to be my thing. So I'd look at something and they would say that's $20. I'm like, I don't know. I'll pay $20, but you need to throw in a turtle or throw in a couple turtles. And so I would use that as my barter. You throw that in, I'll pay $20. And so that way I was getting something extra. They were negotiating, and it was a healthy way to do it. So now I've had a bunch of turtles that I keep. There's turtles that I give away. But that was my way of being respectful for that cultural bartering thing without also nickel and diming to save money with people that are, having difficult circumstances compared to mine. So,
and then while we were there, that's when the storm came, and it affected us for the rest.
That was quite a downpour, didn't it?
Yeah, it downpoured as we're
right as we're finished up, and we kind of could tell it was coming because of the clouds and the gloom, and knowing enough that hey, islands they get some rain, and so we were wrapping up. Trying to get back to the boat when it was quite a deluge.
Yes, and so then that night the ship was kind of rocky, and I could feel it.
What did our show? Let's not skip to the.
Well.
Was that Dreams?
No, we didn't go to a show that night. It was like
Magic or that Magician or something.
Yeah, I think that Magician, which we weren't that into. What
was the other show that we saw in the very first one? Was it the one that had different princesses and princes and different stuff?
I cannot remember what the second show was.
Okay.
But anyway, what was I gonna say? Oh, we went to. So the last night we were in.
Had Cinderella, or Prince Charming, and who was Prince Charming?
Oh, Twice Charmed.
Twice Charmed.
That was the.
I was like, there was lots of princesses in it, so Twice Charmed.
It's a reimagined telling of Cinderella. Like, what if it was a wicked godfather instead of a fairy godmother? Anyway.
Wonderful show. I can't remember a single detail. I would go see it again. But anyway.
Anyway, so back to the last night.
Which is always sad. That last night, which this is our first time experiencing it, is we're on this wonderful vacation. We don't want it to end. And then on the very last night, you have to get all your luggage packed. And whatever luggage you're not going to be carrying off with you, you need to have that luggage outside your door for your stateroom hosts and others to pick up, and they can have that ready for your disembarkation the next day.
It's already at the port when you go. But we went to Animator's Palette that night, which is on all 4 of the original ships. It's at the back of the ship. So with the rocky weather, I was feeling it at that point. I was feeling the waves. So my dinner, I enjoyed my dinner. It was very yummy. But I was worried it wasn't going to stay down. But the best part of that experience at Animator's Palette, the first time we went, when you walk in, it is black and white. Like,
the artwork like that's on the walls drawings, and the pictures.
It's like the first imaginings of some of these animated movies. Like, so there's drawings of like Lady and the Tramp, Belle, the Beast, 101 Dalmatians, like all the classics they're all drawn. And then there's these TVs that are animated, like framed. Yeah. And they're, as you're sitting there, the drawing appears. Like you can see like the pencil marks of how they create these.
So you start playing like guessing games. So it starts off and so as you know, as our table, we're sitting there, we're trying to guess like which Disney character it is.
Because it was right by me, so it was like right there.
So we're just watching until we can figure out who it is, and so that's just a fun thing to do.
But then throughout the night, color starts to come in through the lights, through the drawings. Oh, the waiters also start off with black and white vests, and then all of a sudden the waiters they all disappear, and then the show starts playing on all the TVs. Classic scenes from movies, and they're talking about wishing and hoping and dreaming of a new life and blah blah blah, and then Mickey comes in and it's all color throughout the thing, and Mickey runs around.
It's just magic.
And it's magic. Like I was in tears. I was just like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And then the waiters all come in and they have colored vests on again. Like, it was awesome how they did that.
And for our friends that had been on a cruise before, this was something that they were really looking forward to, because this was a very specific
Magic.
They do things differently, since the Magic is the very first Disney ship, unless you consider the red
boat.
The red boat. So the red boat is kind of a different category. So the Magic is kind of officially the first Disney ship. And so not all the ships do the same thing with Animator's Palette. And so this was seeing Animator's Palette the second time for them, but the first time with this specific Mickey show. Yes.
And then we went to bed. I felt it moving the whole night.
I slept so good. It's like the boat just rocked me to sleep. So I slept fine. I did wake up, 6 o'clock or something, and you could tell, like, wow, I never noticed that in any of the other nights before. So yeah, it was a little bit stormy, rocky.
And I think that did affect me. We then had breakfast at Animators. So the restaurant that you have your last dinner in is where you had breakfast the next morning. So we had dinner at Animators, or we had breakfast at Animators Palette, and then boom, right off the ship. And that's when I realized I have debarkation syndrome, which is where you feel like you are still on the ship 3-4 weeks after. The second time it was like 3 months it took for it to go away. But while we were sitting at the port waiting for our ride, I took a picture with the girls, and we started our tradition of sad picture where
we're not on a boat.
We're not on a boat anymore.
After all the we're on a boat, after all of that, the mood shifts as soon as you step off. It's like, not on a boat.
And so that was our first cruise. And so
yes,
we hope you enjoyed listening to our stories.
Yes,
like and subscribe.
And so like and subscribe. And so I got off that ship. I had certain expectations heading onto the cruise. I expected that she would have a wonderful time. I can have a wonderful time in almost any circumstance. I can make it enjoyable. And so I figure, okay, we're gonna come back. It's we'll have had a good time. Hey, it's a vacation. Hey, there's lots of food. But I thought, because of the price that was attached to it initially, I thought I'm going to get off and say, okay, we had a good time, but it wasn't worth that amount of money, and we probably won't ever do that again. Boy, was I wrong. I was, as soon as we got off, I could not wait to do that again. And so that, for us, that was just kind of like, okay, I really liked doing exactly that. And so our second cruise was almost in many ways a carbon copy of that, in terms of we went on the same ship for the same number of days, going out of the same port, going to mostly the same places. And there, COVID changed a lot of things for how that. We will discuss
that in the next video.
But my statement that I've said over the years is they must have put some pixie dust or something in that food, because it transformed my perspective on what my expectations were and how the Disney cruise just went so far above and beyond what I expected as a brand new cruiser who we don't have kids and I don't have a Disney fixation and I don't like water. Despite all of those things, here I am years later, still just remembering just how exciting that very first cruise was.
And so every cruise, well, almost every cruise, I make a little photo book. So here's my first photo book. Here's Ryan's first picture with Mickey.
There we go.
And I go through Shutterfly. And yeah, I'm not going to show you all the pictures because our friends are in there.
Yes. So we've started, when it comes to our cruises and those sorts of things, that we take a lot of pictures. We put them in these albums as little keepsakes, and so it refreshes our memory when we go back through and open them to remember who our particular hosts were, remember who our table mates were. All of those things are just wonderful memories from wonderful trips, and so it's nice having them, having a vacation condensed into one Shutterfly book. Just wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. So again, hope you like these videos, and we're going to keep making more. We still got other vacations we went on, other cruise ships we went on, and we've got lots of pictures to share, information to talk
and
about.
more vacations coming up.
Yep.
So.
Yep. Okay.
Bye.
Bye.